All right, so this next lesson we're going to talk about the actions menu. That's the little button up at the top left that looks like a little wrench there. And the add section up here at the top is, again, fairly self-explanatory, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time here. You can insert other files, other Procreate files. You can insert other photos. So if I wanted to pull in a reference of a fist that I took in a different app, then I've got the ability here to, pull that in, resize it, use that as reference point if I wanted to. I'm going to two-finger undo that a couple times. And then go back to the actions menu. We can add text. Not really going to be adding any text. I'm not a letterer. I don't want to be a letterer, but that's where you can go to do it if you want. Cut copy is there as well. I have my three-finger swipe down set to copy and paste, but that is an option that you can decide in the preferences, which we'll get to that in a second. Canvas, again, this is fairly self-explanatory. Crop and resize. We're not going to be doing a whole lot of this, but that is where you go to do that. Page assist, animation assist, we're not really going to be using. Not things that we're going to use as a colorist. Drawing guide, again, not something we're going to really need for this course, but the drawing guide is not something that we're really going to use in this course, but if you do draw and let's say you wanted some perspective guides or something, you can click on drawing guides, then edit drawing guide, and you've got some perspective tools here that you can use. Again, not really the point of this course. And then the reference, this is a new little feature in Procreate 5.2, I think. And if you have reference material, like, that you want to view while you're looking at your canvas, then this little reference window is really good for that. By default, it's just going to show you your canvas. So if you're one of those people that likes, like me, that likes to step back from the canvas very often, then this is a good way to not have to continually zoom in and out. You can also import other images. You can map your page to your face if you want. Very weird. Not that we need any of that stuff, but that's what the reference button is. Flip horizontal and flip vertical. Again, these are self-explanatory. And then canvas information. We're going to talk about all of this stuff in a little bit when we get into creating our files and all that stuff, but not really something we're going to dive too much into here. The share button, again, kind of self-explanatory, but this will, if you want to save your layers intact, make sure you're using a Procreate file or a PSD file. Those are the two that include layers. PDFs, JPEGs, all the rest are just going to export a single layer. So not really what you want to do unless that's, you're sending that off to whoever you're coloring for. Video is where you adjust the settings for Procreate's time-lapse function that's built in. If you go to time-lapse replay, it'll play back everything you've done so far. And recording is something, again, you can toggle off and on. If you have an old iPad, maybe it runs a little slower or something with that on. And then export time-lapse video will give you options for that, full length or 30 seconds. And then the preferences, if you're one of those people that like light interfaces, what's wrong with you? No, I'm kidding. But I like dark interfaces. And this switches the interface from left to right, the right hand. The brush cursor will decide whether or not you see the shape of the cursor while you're working. Again, I think mine, what was it? Was it on? I don't remember if mine was off or on. I think it was on. I'll have to go back and watch the video and find out. I think it was on. Dynamic brush scaling. What this does is as you zoom in on the canvas, it keeps the brush relatively the same size for the canvas, not the view you're in, which I do recommend keeping that on. Project canvas is if you were sending it to like a projector. We're not going to do that. Connect legacy status, going to skip that section where I'm using an Apple Pencil, and that's what I'd recommend you use. If you use something else, you would use this. Pressure and smoothing. I've got all of this stuff off. That's the way I like it. I did adjust the pressure sensitivity slightly. If this is something that you struggle with, how hard you're pressing or having to press too hard or press too lightly, you can goof around with this curve and that will adjust that for you. Again, not really what we're talking about in this course. It doesn't matter that much. And then gesture controls. This is where I pulled this up earlier. If you go to copy paste, I've got mine set to 3-finger swipe. There's a lot of other options here you can use. But the two things I have set up in this section are copy and paste are set to 3-finger swipe. And on the quick menu, I have set to 4-finger tap. I don't do this very often, but a 4-finger tap pulls up this menu. And it's great for like quickly flipping the canvas. I do that pretty often because you hit it with 4 fingers, hit the canvas, flip it back and forth. That's convenient, especially when you're drawing, not so much when you're coloring. And then help is help. There's really nothing in there I think we need to talk about. But if you click on advanced settings, you can see that palm support level is something you might want to mess around with. If I have my hands are not huge, and for me, fine mode worked best. You can try standard, but if you notice that your palm is hitting things you don't intend to hit, then maybe try fine mode, and you can disable the time lapse from here. Everything else, I would leave it alone. So there you go. Those are all the major tools very quickly. Now, again, we're going to dig into some of this a little bit later, but I wanted to at least have everybody on the same page about what everything is and where everything is. And let's move on.